Good afternoon, friends. Stephen and Yana Benoon, and we are going to be going into several points here today. Yana's article that she just released, Huckabee Pretends Israel Welcomes Christians. That's a very insightful and powerful article that you're going to definitely want to see. Also, we're going to be talking about Tucker Carlson, his visit there to the Middle East there, and no, he landed in Jordan, not in Israel. And of course, this very interesting video that Yana sent me in an email on Rumble, where this rabbit explains why they want to eradicate Western civilization. All this, these three things here, of short broadcast, but very, very powerful. And by the way, if you do want to join us tonight on X39, hub.com, for those that like Lifeway, we'll be talking about that there. Just wanted to remind you because I'll forget if I don't say it now. Anyway, let's go right into this, Yanka, because this is an amazing article. Do you want to explain a little bit about the picture here before we get into this?
Well, you know who Huckabee is. I mean, he's a pastor, evangelical, but he's an ambassador to Israel. And something happened in 2025. I think it was summer 2025 when Israel stopped giving visas to evangelical ministries. So, donations continued, that they support Israel with money and supporting their politics. So donations continued, but they would not renew visas for them. And some of the ministries have been there even before 1948. That's what the article actually mentions. So everybody was anxious. Why is it? What happened? Why is Israel unfriendly? So what Israel did, they were sending them questionnaires and they had to answer strange questions about their faith, about their assets.
Wow.
It was just really weird. So their visas kept being denied. They kept being um, they had to wait long, long time. And they were like very puzzled over this behavior of Israel. What happened to our best friend in the Middle East, right? And so Huckabee, of course, he was trying to figure this out very quietly behind the scenes. So he talked with interim ministry there several times. They promised him that they're going to fix it. There is just some sort of little mistake or whatever, but then nothing happened again. Visas just kept being denied to Christians,
Right,
right?
right.
So finally, Huckabee, after a long time of tolerating this, he got angry. So he wrote a letter to the ministry, the Ministry of Interior, I think.
Now, before we go further with this, some people are going to probably say, "Oh, this is just fabricated letter and everything." Where did this story first break at?
Yeah, it is in Israel News. It first, okay, so after he sent this letter, which is a very strong letter, now he kept it all secret before Christians. Christians had no idea, okay, what was
And they
happening.
didn't want anybody knowing, did they?
He didn't want Christians to know at all what's happening, right? But he was very strong, and then he wrote this strong letter. I published whatever was available on my Substack, and in this letter, he's telling them, "Look, we're going to be forced to tell publicly in the United States what you are doing." That we are being met with rejection and hostility, and whatever you're doing to us, denying us visa, we're going to start doing to Israeli citizens. When they ask for a visa to come
Right, right.
to United States, and so he had to write. It's on that letter. I highlighted it, especially on the second page.
Okay, I've got the
Yeah.
first page here. It is a great distress that I write to you my profound disappointment that the meeting held in your office has not resulted in what I hope to be a simple resolution of the issue of routine granting of visas for Christian organizations and workers and has been practiced for decades. All right, so it says that there. And then as we go further down in here, says, as the beginning of 2025, the Visa Department arbitrarily ceased honoring the recommendations of the Ministry of Religious Affairs and has initiated an independent investigation into each of the evangelical organizations to ascertain whether or not they should be recognized as religious institutions and continue receiving visas. This includes many historic organizations such as the Baptist Convention of Israel, Christian Missionary Alliance, Assemblies of God, etc., some of whom have been active here since before 1948. The vast majority, Huckabee writes, of them have headquarters in the United States. They have all been required to fill out extensive questionnaires regarding their religious beliefs, their activities, their assets in Israel, etc. And to the best of my knowledge, none of them have received new A3 clergy visas since the beginning of the year, as they are all under investigation.
Right. So you can, I mean, you can read this letter, but go to the page 2, and
Okay.
that's where he gets really kind of um
Oh wow.
threatening.
Yeah, here
Yeah.
we go. So I'm gonna have to photograph these because they don't blow up too well. So let me just kind of copy them
Oh,
and
good.
and that way I can blow it up. Do you want me to continue to read this
Sure.
as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. It's
All
interesting.
right. So in page 2 of Mike Huckabee's letter, two, and this was actually to the Prime Minister of Israel.
This was to Israeli ministry, some sort
Okay,
of,
the Interior
yeah.
Ministry
But I
of
think that
Visas.
even
Okay.
actually Netanyahu was contacted eventually, because they would not, they would promise that they're gonna get better and respond, and they didn't. They
Oh
just
wow.
completely ignored him, and he still kept it very quiet. He didn't want anybody to
Hmm.
know how hostile Israel is towards Christians. Okay, but we will discuss this. Like, read what he had to
I
write.
want to read the paragraph even above where you
Okay.
highlight it because it's very important.
Mhm.
The close partnership between the United States and Israel governments is at an all-time high, having just concluded a joint military operation that will hopefully curtail the threat from an Iranian nuclear ambition. So this was right after America had even attacked the Iranian sites. For our formal and cordial office request from the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem to return to the status quo of long-standing practices regarding visas to be rebuffed and made worse is shocking and a source of unexplicable disappointment. Let me reiterate, he says, that we are not asking for special or out of ordinary treatment. We are simply requesting that the long-standing policy that has been employed for generations be continued. It is the abrupt change and additional burden and expense that has been imposed without explanation that we find bewildering. The United States and evangelical Christian organizations are your friends. We feel we are being treated as adversaries. Can you imagine Mike Huckabee writing
Yes,
this?
yes.
Wow.
And you would not know that he wrote this letter until it actually leaked in Channel 12 Israel News.
And Channel 12 News is a very, very respected news
Yeah.
source in
So it didn't,
Israel.
I mean, he didn't
Wow.
tell anybody here. He didn't tell nobody. He was handling it by himself. Okay.
He writes, and
Yes.
continuing here, right? It would be very unfortunate that our embassy would have to publicly announce throughout the United States that the state of Israel is no longer welcoming Christian organizations and that their representatives and is instead engaging in harassment and negative treatment toward organizations with long standing relationships and positive involvement toward Zionism and friendship to the Jewish people and the state of Israel. We would further, he says, be obligated to warn Christians in America that their generous contributions to organizations to warn Christians in America that their, promote goodwill in Israel are being met with hostility and that tourists should reconsider travel until this situation is resolved with clarity. Finally, and most regrettably, if the government of Israel continues to cause the expense and bureaucratic harassment for the granting of routine visas that for decades have been routine, I will have no other choice than to instruct our consular section to review options for reciprocal treatment of Israeli citizens seeking visas to the United States. Surely this is not the relationship the state of Israel wishes to have with its best partner and friend on the planet.
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah, so he can be pretty strong. But now listen, he's doing this in secret, all by himself, without telling and informing anybody. Nobody knew about this letter. Nobody knew about his meetings with them or that hostility. They were just quietly puzzled. Well, what happens? Channel 12 News took this letter, it leaked.
Yes.
And they have posted all over Israel news that, oh, Huckabee is threatening us. And that was the only time when they did something about it. So it was, then they
It
started.
finally became an embarrassment to
Yes,
see that. And
yes,
and to think about it. I mean, this is what's really happening in Israel.
right.
This is what they really think about you, and you don't get all that. Although
Yes.
the warnings that my wife has done for a long time, I have done as well, letting you know the direction things are going in, the Noahide laws. That's just going to be the capstone of their theocracy that they're building in the Middle East to everything that's happening already.
Well, there is definitely a dislike for Christianity and Christians. That's so obvious.
Yes.
And Huckabee telling people, or anybody, any Zionist Christians like Amir Tsarfati, like Jack Hibbs, they're all making it look like Israel and United States are together, best friends, and their Judeo-Christian values. Okay, no, there is an complete hatred of
Yeah.
Christianity and Christians, and a complete hatred for Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's so sad.
And hatred for us as a country, United States. It's
Well,
hated. And all they want is money. And as long as you support their genocide, all is good.
they
So,
want to drain this country
do
dry.
nothing.
They,
And they will throw you away just like they did here. You see what they're doing.
they're planning on it.
They're planning on it. This is it should show you what future will look like, because they will first drain you completely dry out of all of the assets until you have any milk left. They're gonna drink it, and then they will throw you out as the
It was
nastiest way
they
possible.
probably at this point when they started denying these visas, they may have thought at that point that they were at that stage ready to make that next step,
Well,
Yana. And I
listen,
think that's what it is. And
yeah,
then what happened is they realized, look, no, we're not done yet. We still need Christian support. This is also at the time, not long after that, that they killed Charlie Kirk.
yes, yes.
And that's something too. I still need to get with Colin on because of another issue on that.
Well, you know what the government of Israel is. And by the way, the Netanyahu was contacted, and he probably told them, "Hey, you can't do this yet.
Yeah, right.
We're
Because
not
he did
ready.
say that we're useful idiots,
Yeah,
right?
we're not
That
ready. We
leaked.
are not ready yet. Wait, but by the way, they killed a lot of Christians there already. It's just that Christians of this country are not really realizing what's happening, because Palestinians and Middle Eastern Christians are being killed by Israelis, by IDF. Okay, and that's when we're gonna go next. But I will tell you, remember who is in power in Israel now. It's a far right Talmudic government,
Yes,
and they
yes.
want it's like Smotrich and Ben
Mm,
Gvir, okay, and they are Kahanists. Ben Gvir is a Kahani admirer. And
right.
okay, and we know who Kahani was. He was a declared terrorist by FBI here in United States, and it's a far right Talmudic government
Mm.
that wants to install Talmudic theocracy. Talmud hates Jesus Christ. I mean, we are not compatible with Israel
Well,
as a nation.
no, we're not.
Our values and their values is totally different thing.
As you always say, it's an oxymoron to say the Judeo-Christian
Very
values, right?
oxymoron. It's just like putting together it's north and south, two magnets that they just, you're forcing it, but it just can't
Right.
unite. So it's all
When
forced.
they took away sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ with Jewish people, that's when you disarmed completely You basically, when you're told to take and go study underneath the rabbis, and this is what's got to be done. And when you call them over and over and over, rabbi, 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 you keep, that's why Jesus said, don't call no man a rabbi. He said, you have one rabbi, and that's the Messiah. That's him. He was the only one because you put them as a master, and that word carries such power and such influence on your life. The thing is, if you really genuinely care about Jewish people, share with them the gospel. As Jesus told his disciples, right, when he sent them out, even to the house of Israel, that he was going and having them to witness to them, he said, whatever house is worthy that will receive you, go in and be received. He says, but if they don't receive you, this now, by the way, house of Israel, Jewish people, you want to call it, right? Judeans, correctly, if they don't receive you, he said, shake the dust off your feet as a witness. It'll be more tolerable for the day of Sodom and Gomorrah than for that household.
Mm.
All right. So this is, Jesus is not playing church with you. He gave that covenant to bring us back in. And I don't want to get off on this tangent right now because I write about this on Substack. By the way, my wife's Substack right here, under her maiden name. Let me just show you real quick, though. Um, Yana Espinoon, but under her maiden name, at Yana Satova. All right, Sutoova. It will be in the description, but I'll blow it up big enough for you to see here as well. Be a paid subscriber. All right. Now you can subscribe for free. Yana puts a lot of content for free.
I
I'm saying it to you from my heart. Why? Because I watch my wife, from early morning, sometimes 5:30 in the morning until 12 noon, 1 o'clock. We have no communication practically because she is that deep in studying and writing and putting together information. She takes away from her family to be able to help you. And that's why I'm encouraging you. It's such a small minimal amount. And I mean, look, people are sending thousands to ministries that now Israel Huckabee tells you they can't get a visa because Israel don't want to give it to them because they're all under investigation. And when somebody is willing to tell you the truth, I think they deserve that support. I really do. So
Okay,
I just
so
add.
let's
So,
go to the next one. And by the way, there is a sourced article in that.
oh, you do have the article on there sourced about the
Yeah, when you go on the bottom of my article there, I put source, and that's when you can see
okay.
everything, and it's very well explained. That was original source that explained
Right. So go to the article,
what
click on it.
happened.
I'll
Yeah.
actually put that in the link for you as well. Before we hit these other two, because of something you said, I do want to just show this. You said there's so much changing, and I just had this come out. Israel's Security Cabinet approved today a sweeping set of decisions designed to entrench Israeli control and accelerate de facto annexation across the occupied West Bank. All right.
Mhm.
Uh, and what are they going to do? Defense Minister Israel Katz and the Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich described the moves as normalizing life for settlers, removing legal barriers, and strengthening Israel's permanent hold over Judea and Samaria, which is the West Bank. It's not Judea and Samaria. Forget it. Christ took that away a long time ago because you failed to recognize the Messiah. What the extremist right wing in Israel calls the occupied West Bank. Well, no, it is occupied, and they're not extremist. Repeal of Jordanian era laws barring the sale of land to Jews, allowing purchases under the same rules. I won't go into all this. I'll put in the link for you to look at there, but it's a very serious thing. They're terrorizing Yana, these people. They're terrorizing
Yeah.
Palestinians.
Look what happened to these people on the Our Watch. That's we are all Palestinians now. It can happen to anyone now, and that's what will happen. Uh, Tucker here traveled to Jordan, right? Because he
Yes.
couldn't probably go to Israel. I don't think they would receive him. Now, these people like her and Candace Owens, they're declared star
Anti-Semites, right? Yeah.
anti-Semites, because these people had huge platforms and they're telling you the truth suddenly. Which, in the beginning, I kind of wondered because I watched Tucker Carlson when he was a Zionist, right?
Mhm.
And he also had one show that was very positive. for Noahide laws, and that's why I never trusted him again. But then I'm seeing him, change, which was very, very strange. And some people might be, suspecting, oh, why that change? But then if you look at us, we used to be
Right. People
Zionists,
felt the
and
same way about us. I mean, even the name of our news channel, I don't even say it now at the beginning most of the time, mainly because I don't want to be associated now that we see the evils that are happening. Uh, we have talked about changing the name, but so many people say keep it because maybe you'll help people in the long run.
yeah. So, but anyway, he has this magnificent interview with
Anglican.
Anglican priest, and he is explaining to him the reality how Christians are treated. Uh,
Now, this is only a 2-minute segment of it, so I don't
okay,
have the Anglican priest in this one. I
you
didn't know.
don't? Oh,
No, I,
okay.
I didn't realize that. And
No, no, no. Yeah, for real. I
let me,
mean,
let me
there is an
find the right
entire.
one then.
It's
So,
okay.
let's see here. Let's put him in there then, Tucker.
I thought you found it.
Well, I thought I
I
did
mean,
too until I looked at the timestamp.
I listened to it
Full
yesterday,
interview.
the whole thing. While I was making dinner, I was listening to it.
Here we go. We'll get it. It was easy to find because it is here. It is right there.
Yes, it's
Well, it's
so.
only this. That is the Anglican priest, though. So you want to play this
No, that's not
portion?
the
Oh,
Anglican
it's not.
priest, but
Okay.
that's okay. That's somebody else. I don't know but
Let's see.
it's all right.
Give me 1 second though, because we can always pause and add to this. Let's see here. That's 55 seconds. That's 2 minutes. Let me put on there full interview because I did see the full interview also. Maybe the best thing to do is go right to Tucker's channel. Hey, what do you know? A
He
novel idea.
posts
This
a
is it, I
lot.
do believe.
How do these people
Okay,
feel now?
here we go. Now, what is Pizza the Elite? Oh, no, I don't think that's it either.
No, that's not it.
Here it is. Here it is, right here. This is the full one,
In the
right
Yeah,
States,
here.
we have
that's
the
Okay,
it.
American Friends of the
uh,
Diocese of Jerusalem, Anglican, and they're
is
doing
that the one?
fantastic
Yeah.
support.
Okay, let
But
me
if you kind
pause
of
the sound so you
compare the amount of money that comes to the other side, we are talking about a drop in the ocean.
Really?
Yeah.
So Christian churches in the United States send more money to, say, Jewish settlements in the West Bank than they do to Christians in Jesus' hometown of Nazareth?
That's not a secret. That's not a secret. Everybody knows that. Yeah.
What about Bethlehem?
Now, Bethlehem is a different challenge there. I don't know if you have visited Bethlehem before, but you would see that the city is surrounded by the wall, the separation wall that separates, East Jerusalem from Bethlehem, and the occupation and the kind of the wall that separates the two countries now, and also measures and huge measures of restrictions, of movement, and all of that is causing many people to leave the country. And now I think, imagine like 100,000 Christians in Bethlehem, let's say 50 years ago or so. Today we have less than 30,000.
Really?
Yeah, a huge drop.
Do they receive aid from American Christian churches?
Not to my knowledge. They might receive like projects here and there, but like substantial money to keep their businesses. I just want you to go now, especially during the war, the Gaza war, in the last 2 years. Go to Bethlehem and see what is happening.
I don't
there.
think I could.
The little town of Bethlehem is bleeding right now. There's no business, no tourists, no visitors.
I don't understand. So the American Christian churches, broadly speaking, the church, Christians in the United States, is by far the richest in the world and the biggest. And why wouldn't they send help to Christians in the town where Jesus was born and the town that he grew up?
I'm sure that, people may have different answers, but I think my answer would be the kind of the big answer would be, which could be shocking for some people, that is that they would be concerned that they send the money and it ends up in the hands of the wrong people. Let's be honest about this.
Well, let's just say, and I think that's a concern for everybody giving money to charity. It's certainly a concern for me. in general.
Yeah.
But if there's, say, a church, the Church of the Nativity, the one that the IDF shot people in,
Yeah.
I've been there, and it's kind of falling apart. And I remember thinking, where are the Christians around the world to support the Church of the Nativity on the site where Jesus, their Savior, was born?
Indeed. And that's why, like you will see,
I just don't understand that.
I don't understand that either. But let me tell you something like, an example, like how charity starts at home. We know that our king here in Jordan, King Abdullah, has donated substantial amount of money to the repair of the Nativity and the Holy Sepulchre. And the same thing happened also partially also with the Palestinian Authority. And also there are money that came also from partners from Europe and other places as well. But the amount of money, as you said, like, and the charity that you think that could be given to the Christian community to enforce and maintain its presence in the Holy Land, you don't see that in ways that you could imagine, that sisters and brothers in Christ, siblings in Christ around the world would be giving to their church.
When we started this,
That is so
well, that's only about money,
heartbreaking.
but I think this interview goes even further. So it's really good to watch the whole thing
Yeah.
because it's a blessing to be able to be there. One of my regrets from time when we were there, I wish I could go back in time because I would go to Gaza, West Bank, and I would talk to Christians.
Yeah. And we
And
did go to Bethlehem,
we did, yes,
but not like we should have.
not like, we were more
Everybody,
geared
yeah,
toward
and
Jews.
and the fear, because everyone wants to instill
Yes.
fear in you.
And
That,
I remember the fear. I remember how fearful I was when you had to drive through West Bank and you left us in a hotel. And then you had to go for something we forgot. It was important for you to drive through West Bank, and I couldn't sleep because I was so fearful that terrorists are gonna kill you. And none of that
and that
was,
never bothered me. I never had,
yeah.
I mean, the only place that I used to have a little bit of nervousness was Jericho.
Mhm.
But granted, here I was at that time, a Zionist Christian. You're wearing a kippah. Well, of course you should be afraid. Because why? They have terrorized these people.
Mhm.
But when you meet them, when you finally do make friends with a Palestinian Christian or something, and even Arabic Palestinians,
And
some of the
what's,
kindest people on earth.
yes, and that was my observation too. And it was kind of confusing in my mind because when we were there, they were the very nice and kind people, and Israelis were not. They were not kind people. And I think I told you that.
Yeah.
I told you, look, I am seeing something here that's really confusing. Israelis are not nice and kind people, but when I am talking to Palestinians, they're just such a beautiful people,
Yeah.
and that was very confusing to me at the time, But now we understand what's happening.
Yeah.
And okay, so to stay with the subject, what we are talking about tonight is how Israel and especially the religious Israel perceives the West and a Christianity. There is a rabbi who explains it, and they're doing things kind of like in gradually, Steve.
Yeah.
So right now they're dealing with Palestinians. They're conquering. They want the borders, the greater Israel, which Jack Hibbs and Sarfati said that that's a future kingdom of Jesus Christ. Okay, so now all of this is going on, but after all of this is done, and let's say they will be successful enough to build a temple. Okay, let's say that this is gonna go through and they're gonna do it. When temple is there, Steve, it's gonna be really hell on earth for everybody else.
Yeah.
And they're gonna turn on Christians, and who knows what else are they gonna do to the world, what they're gonna come up with. Because this guy right here is explaining to you that West is Edom, Edom is Esau, and they are calling Christianity as a whole, it's a religion. And United States and Europe, they're calling it Edom and Amalek.
Yes.
And by their own law, they have to eradicate them from the face of the earth. And they're not making it a secret. They're telling you they're going to kill you right to your face. And Christians are supporting them. So reconcile that.
You ready for it?
Sure.
Let me pause the mic.
And also in Negative Commandment 59, that there's a mitzvah and a command to wipe out from among all the descendants of Esav, descendants of Amalek, male and female, young and old. What is Amalek? Says Hasidus, Amalek represents the concept of doubt. They put a doubt into everything that you want to do. That is why they're so evil. That is Amalek. And that is why Amalek is so terrible, and it has to be totally uprooted. Therefore, God tells us we should erase their memory, and we should eradicate them from the face of the earth. So when a Jew enters into Eretz, into the land of Israel, what should he do? The first thing, appoint a king. Step 2, destroy Amalek. Who is Amalek? Amalek comes from Esav. Esav was a brother to Jacob.
Esav, who in modern day terms is really basically, certainly one of them is America. Esav became Edom, which is a nation. Edom became Rome. Instead of it being Rome, it became Christianity. Christianity, of course, ultimately became Western civilization. So Esav today is really Western civilization.
But the new Rome, the United States, the new Rome.
Esav is Europe, the United States.
The throne of God is incomplete until we destroy Amalek.
Any nation that has that religion can be considered Esav.
The audacity, the chutzpah, to destroy Amalek and to cut off the offsprings of the nation of Amalek. And the Sifri goes on to say, how do we do this today?
What would be the most Jewish thing for the last Jew to do?
So there you have it.
No, that wasn't done yet. Hold on. What was that?
Hold on.
The most appropriate fitting thing.
One said that the last thing that a Jew should do when he or she leaves Europe is spit.
Steve, I mean, to me, this is. Thanks for who made this video, put it together. That was Rabbi Kessin, by the way, over there. And he very frequently says that Christianity is Edom and Amalek. And of course, they have this in their law, that they have to eradicate, kill, and cut it off and cut their offspring off. So what does it tell you while you are sending them money, give them support? Now, Steve, something I want to ask you, because Christians will say, well, they are blind. And they're going to look at the one that they pierced and mourn for him, and they're going to recognize Jesus. To me, they put this prophecy into future.
Mm-hmm.
That way they can get to power, and it will be way too late by the time they realize, oh, this is not the prophecy. It's not prophecy. It was fulfilled.
Yeah. It's written plainly in the Gospel of John that they will look upon him whom they have pierced.
It would have to be someone who actually did it.
Yes.
And it happens.
Yes. It's fulfilled already according to the Gospel of John. It was fulfilled.
Yes.
Even in this whole idea that, oh, well, what about the 10 lost tribes? They're not lost. Jesus clearly said, I was sent only into the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He did it. He sent the 12 disciples abroad. That's why Josephus records that there were more people at that time in Jerusalem than there had been in a long time, because the remnant of the house of Israel had returned. 3,000 of them give their life to Jesus Christ. The very word in there about pierced and some of the other verbiages that's used there in the second chapter of Acts there is that awe and fear that we read about in Jeremiah. And you mentioned Amalek also, and that was the first article I ever wrote on Substack.
Article. It's really, really good.
It's one of the most popular articles I've ever written, and that really traces the genealogy of who Amalek really is. So it's not who you think it is. It's not Christianity, as they're trying to say. But regardless, anyone could be saved. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to speak about. I think we should close this program
Yes.
tonight, but just to bring your awareness to the fact Israel hates you. It hates Christ, it hates Christianity, it hates Christians, and it has a big plan of eradication of all Christians. And now they are doing this with Noahide Academy. It's kind of like re-education program for Christians. It seems so friendly, doesn't seem very dangerous. It's just, hey, you were wrong, and Tovia is telling you and explaining you how you have a wrong understanding of the Old Testament, and now they're inviting you become a Noahide, but it's gonna become, because this is worldwide now, and all the countries are signing up to universal ethics, which are Noahide laws. So eventually we're going to wake up one day into a world, Steve, where all of this is going to be forced upon us.
Yeah.
And we're just like frogs slowly boiling in the water. And at that time, all these honest Christians are going to say, oh, we walked into a trap. Well, we were telling you, you're walking into a trap.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so
That's
wake
exactly
up.
right.
That's all we want to do for you is wake up. Stop support
Yes.
of Israel. Stop support of Zionist ministers. That's why they can continue, because they're getting enormous amounts of money and luxuries from you.
Right.
So, and of course,
People
they're paid by
support,
Israel
right.
too.
It's in the wrong direction
Yes,
completely. The
exactly.
ministries, the small ministries that are out there, Chuck Baldwin, Jay Sladen, the work that we do, others are just
There
not
are others now,
supported.
they're popping up
Yeah.
more and more. So I would put my support toward people like this, toward ministers who are non-Zionist. And I don't care what, you give names and labels. I said it on the other program, we can debate here prophecies, fulfillments, from all kinds of views, as long as we agree on one thing. Dispensational Zionist Christianity has brought us to, I'm afraid, to a point of no return as a nation.
Yeah.
And it is a very heretic Christianity.
Yes. In closing, let me just encourage you. Our website, IsraeliNewsLive.org. You can donate directly online if you'd like to support the ministry we do here, or you can even help yourself. Like I said, LifeWave at 8 o'clock Eastern, which is in about 25 minutes. I'll be doing a Zoom call on x39hub.com. So if you want to come and learn a little bit about that, please join us there.
And here's the LifeWave. I just want to point to it because we
Yeah,
are
we have the link
still
right here
wearing
on-
our patches because they are extremely helpful. So all you have to do is click here on our website,
right?
and it will take you to a website where you can sign up.
It's very simple there. And if you want to purchase it for yourself, you don't remember, keep in mind, you don't have to do this as a business at all. Just if you want to use a product, I just encourage you to be a preferred customer though, so that you can save the money and give it a year. I just had an MRI done, updated one, and I had a massive improvement, and that's why I'm able to run again. So
Exactly.
thank
So,
you. Thank you for listening. We appreciate your time, and share this video everywhere you possibly can. Keep in mind, we are shadow banned like unbelievably bad. That's one reason why sometimes we use kind of alternative titles to try to get beyond those shadow bannings there. So it's not
AI.
right. It's not a clickbait. Okay, so it's just for the sake of, we know they're trying to keep us pushed down. So thank you, and God bless you. Share everywhere you possibly can. Put it on your social media. Be sure you're still subscribed as well. Many of you are taking off on a daily basis. Thank you, and God bless you.